Hello, I'm Russell, and today I'm going to do a short video talking about the interior door seal plates. They're also called, I've seen them called door thresholds. I couldn't find anything online about these. When I started doing my rebuild on my Land Rover Discovery 1, I think it was 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, one of the first things I did when I got it, it came in rough shape. It had a lot of rust. I ripped out the carpets, were disgusting. If you're not familiar, the Land Rover Discovery 1s come with the under the carpets. It's almost like interior house carpet silencers or insulation. So it's very thick. It acts as a sponge. And these Discoveries have these sunroofs that is leaked directly from the factory. They probably leaked day one. All that came in, hits the carpet, gets soaked up into that sponge-like material, and it sits there and it rusts those floors out. And so I did a lot of work. If you look back at the first video I posted on the Discovery, I think it's called Rags to Riches, you can kind of see that full transformation in like a minute and a half, I believe. But one of the first things I did was rip out the carpet. To rip out the carpet, I had to rip these out. And one of the big rookie mistakes I made, these things were in rough shape and I just threw them away. I didn't realize how hard these were going to be to find them for my Discovery 1. And so I scoured the internet, eBay. You can find a lot of the rear panel ones, the rear doors, but it's very hard to find a full set that's together. And if you do find them, they're in the UK, and then you're going to pay another $100 in shipping just to get them to the United States. So I took a chance, and I think my chance paid off. I found a cheap set on eBay for an early Discovery 2. I wasn't certain, but they looked almost identical. They were cheap enough where I thought it'd be worth taking a chance and just doing an experiment to see if an early Discovery 2 threshold plate would fit into my late Discovery 1, because I'm 97, and then the Discovery 1s wait until 98, and then 99 would have been the first year. It might have been 98, the first year, 98, 99 was the first year of the Discovery 2. So mine's towards the end of that production run of the Discovery 1. But sure enough, they do fit. And so if you're in the same boat as me and you have a Discovery 1 and you need to replace your threshold plates and you can't find any, look for an early Discovery 2 and it should fit just fine. So now I'll take you in and I'll show you a closer look in the Discovery, show you how they fit. Alrighty, so as you can see, mine are missing this threshold plate. And so here is the one off the Discovery 2. And as you can see, it fits pretty well in here. Guts get pushed in a little bit. So it's minor tweaks. It should fit just like that, which for me, looks a lot nicer. I still got to screw it in. From the factory, it would have came with some nuts down here that have been built in the floor where the screws screw in. In my case, I'm gonna have to rig something up to go through the floor because all these floors were rusted out when I received it, and I had to weld in brand new seals. So this plate right down here, let me zoom out a little bit. This plate down here on both sides is brand new. I bought this from the UK. They shipped them over, cut out the old seals and re-welded in brand new seals. This passenger floor was in a lot better shape, but the driver floor was like Fred Flintstone. Your feet can go all the way through the bottom. And I had to re-weld in new plates, but there's a lot of companies in the UK that sell exactly what you need, easy to weld in if you know how to weld. So this is the front, and I'll show you the back real quick too. Alright, the back, how am I going to do this where you guys can still see? You can see I lift up my rubber Discovery mats, which are really, really nice as well. But this, as you can see, fits right in there. And it just makes a cleaner look to cover up the carpets. There is a little piece here that is not covered, but that's my fault from not cutting the carpet correctly. But I have some extra carpet I can squeeze in there just so you can't see the kills mat underneath that I added. And here's the driver's side. As you can see, fits in there perfectly. Well, I'm already in here. I might as well just talk inside the Discovery here. One thing I always want to show is the amount of miles that are on it. So the body has about 212, just over 212,000 miles. Again, my long block, when it gets installed, will be fully rebuilt and ready for another 200,000 miles, hopefully. I'll just show you around a little bit. So there's still a lot of odds and ends inside the Land Rover that I need to address as soon as the motor's up and running and I'm back on the road. One of those is there's the radio. This is the original radio, but it's not connected. The speakers don't work. For the few months that I was daily driving it before the motor blew up, I had a turtle box speaker that I would keep on the floor down there and listen to music that way. The cup holder piece needs to be replaced. If I pull it out further, it will come all the way out. And so I do need to replace this here. You probably saw when I was showing you the miles here, this bezel here needs to be replaced. It's cracked. They do sell an aftermarket one I plan on buying that is fiberglass, and it's a remanufactured fiberglass piece that should fit right on there, and the buttons and switches should connect right to it. When I do replace the radio, I do want to make sure I get one that is not factory but looks more to the time and nothing that's too modern. Let's see, so it is the manual transmission, as you can see. One of my favorite things about the Discovery are the new seats covers that I installed. So I took all the seats out. As you can see, you got the back seats, and then in the very back there's the two jump seats, which I do love, and my kids love them as well. One of the other things that I still need to do is the headliner. I need to finish putting this sound dampening material on the roof, and then put the headliner back on. I have all the material down in my basement, and I've actually had the headliner for like 3 years. Just haven't got around to do it. Now with the new motor, more motivation to break that stuff back out and install the headliner. I'll take in the back seat so you can see what it looks like from the back seat. Alright, this is from the back seat. These back seats, and if you're watching this video, you've probably seen other Discovery videos. The back seat is like stadium seating. So my head is a good 6 inches above this headrest. And so you get to see above the driver and the passenger, and it's really get a good view out of all the windows. And then here goes the famous Land Rover Alpine windows. When I was redoing it, installing those Alpine windows was a major pain in the ass. I had at one point I gave up on trying to install them and called that company out. That's Professional Glass Installer Company, and they had a guy work on it for a couple hours before he called it quits and just left the job site. And the company called me back and said they couldn't do it. I ended up just locking in one set weekend and installed both of them. Once I figured it out, the other one did go in pretty easily, but I probably have a dozen hours just trying to get these Alpine windows back installed once I took them out. There goes those missing speakers I mentioned, so I'd get those replaced. In the back I do got a WeatherTech floor mat, and then those are those jump seats that are, I don't know how safe they are, but they're really cool. So WeatherTech floor mats in the very back in the cargo area, and then in the front seats and the rear seats I have actual Land Rover Discovery floor mats that would have been OEM and offered back in 1997 when you bought this. It is a little dirty in here because this is the exact state it was in when we blew up the motor on the way to that camping trip. And actually earlier today when I was sitting back here, I think the kids were eating McDonald's on the way to camping, and I found french fries and all types of things in this back seat that I clean out today. The other thing I'll eventually need to get is a new center console. This one's in rough shape. I'll zoom in on the piece that's broken up there. Let me see if it'll focus. It's not too bad. That spot there is where a a plate goes to show you how to shift the transfer case, and I do have that plate, so I can glue that back on. The reason I didn't initially do that is because I need to replace the center console. So it's not just that piece. The other thing that's broken on it is in the inside, which looks like I got some gum and a Sharpie in here, but this holds it down. In here there's these screws, and I got a beehive tool. I'm a beekeeper as well. But in here there should be 4 screws. Here goes one here. Let me focus. And you can see it's cracked, and so it's not really holding in there. And I can wiggle this, step back, I can wiggle this thing, center console, around pretty good. And so it'd be nice to get one of those. I will say, doing a lot of looking around, it is very hard to find a Discovery 1 center console that's in good shape. So if I find a cheap enough Discovery 2 that's early enough, I may take a gamble on installing a early Discovery 1 center console. But we'll see. I want to get it back on the road before I commit to that. Because the ones I can find on eBay are expensive. Most of them come from the UK, and so you're talking another $100, $150 for shipping. And then the last thing I'll highlight in here, and there goes me, that rear view mirror, the one I have on here is really long and big and actually really nice. You can see everything, but it is aftermarket. It snaps on top of the original. The reason I've done that is because the original, they all of them, they fog up and you can't even see out of them. I think it's with the anti-glare technology they used at the time. They all just glare up and it's not a mirror anymore. You could buy a replacement OEM one. I think they're like $500 to $600. I might do that, and eventually that's way down the line, because actually the one that's on there, it's really nice. It's really, really wide, like something you'll see like on a bus. And you can see everything when you look in that thing. Anything else I want to share? I guess the last thing I'll share in this video here is the AC doesn't work. And so something else I'll mess with after I get on the road and before summer hits, I'll probably change the compressor out and then take it to a shop so they can do a full leak check and service on the AC, and hopefully we get that working. It does have its own, it's not installed here, but there's a plate that goes here where the rear passengers have their own controls, and there's different vents that go inside or above the headliner. I'll show you behind this seat here. This is where a lot of the rear AC components, back up a little bit, behind that seat right in there, there's a huge module of AC components that help with the rear seats for their AC. Alright, I know I said this was the last thing, but last thing I'll show are these rear jump seats, which are the coolest things you've ever seen. I know they're probably not the safest, but definitely the coolest thing. Every car should come with these. Hopefully you enjoyed that quick random video. I wanted to just make sure I showed the Sill plates. It could help someone out. I know I searched the internet and I couldn't find anything on the topic. So if you have a Discovery 1 and you're missing those threshold plates, look for an early Discovery 2. Also, this will be the last video I post for a couple weeks. We're going on spring break trip with the kids to Alaska. Really looking forward to that, and doing some sled dog tours and some glacier tours that we're really looking forward to. So this will be the last video for a few weeks, but once I get back, I have a few projects lined up before the motor shows up. We're going to be doing sway bar links, and they have ball joints on the forward sway bars. I've already replaced the back a few years ago. I need to do the fronts, and I'll show that. It's a lot easier to get to those when the engine's out. And so that's one project you can stay tuned for, as well as there's one spot in the engine bay that I need to sand down and just paint over some rust prevention paint. Maybe I got to put some Bondo after assess what it looks like. I couldn't get to it with the motor in, but now the motor's out, I have all the room I need to really just fix that correctly. And then the last thing I'm going to work on too before the motor goes in is the rain gutter. I don't know what the proper word or it's called, but it's right below the windshield. The windshield water comes down. Most of that water should be actually be diverted to the hood and then down out the front. But some water comes down and it sits in this gully that's supposed to drain out the sides. There was a lot of rust in there when I took it apart the first time and sanded everything down. I used some Flex Seal tape, a lot of caulk in there to seal everything up. It doesn't look the best, and so I just feel a lot better if I can just take all that stuff out and just fix it properly. I think I am going to use a Flex Seal rubberized product again, but something that's liquid, that flows, and so it's smooth all around. I don't have a bunch of caulking seams and tape seams all over the place. So I'll show you that process as well as we lead up for the new lawn block. So again, thanks all. See you guys in a couple weeks.
I packed my suitcase, headed out the door, I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from
there
home,
she is.
dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
Miles past, turning back, found my track, face to fact, she a cold one. Never gonna settle for none, stay up every night till I won. Don't let the soul rise now, I'm confident opulence isn't a long ride out. When I look back now, I'm astounded. A quiet boy from old age, but always felt the world was a stage, yeah. I celebrate one last late night, my old life is staying.
I packed my suitcase, headed out the door, I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home, a couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
Headed to LA, headed on my way, headed on my way to LA, headed on my way to.
We was riding on Civics, wasn't sitting on chrome. Had to hustle just to get it, so we did it on our own. Riding on Civics, wasn't sitting on chrome. Had to hustle just to get it, so we did it on our own.
Couple thousand miles, throw it on the dash. These 10,000 hours, can't let them pass. See, I was putting time in, you was pulled up wildin'. You always had shit to say, now when I see you, it's silence. Thought I have a Grammy by 25. Commas after commas next to dollar sign, yeah. Had to remind myself why I'm living this life. Look at all these late nights, it'll all come in due time, yeah.
Paid for the fight, the pain and the climb, side to the life I chose. Stay through the night, the day, not a dime, race against time. I couldn't just lay by and wonder what I could have made mine. Closing on the moment, no one's gonna hold me down from getting
I packed my suitcase, headed out the door, I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home, a couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.